So I don't know what's D-Rose. What's the biggest takeaway is the final question from ESPN. What's the biggest takeaway from this trade deadline?
That this summer we could see a big trade.
Well, you want to get into that? Because I think my biggest takeaway is that Golden State and the Spurs basically are just locked in
I feel like it's
for a finals winner.
I think everybody just kind of agreed that it's like, look, we can't do enough in this trade deadline to make our team win a championship. So let's try to position ourselves down that road.
So it's the year of the Warriors and Spurs, and now people are basically playing for the offseason and the draft. Ricky, you just brought that up. Mm-hmm. What is the one move that we can see in this offseason that might be big? Because Boston's talking about how they were close.
Whatever that Boston move was. We don't know what it was.
Let's just say what it is. I mean, Boston says that, they were in talks with a big trade and they might revisit it in the offseason.
And that's all we know.
That could be that's what Danny Ainge said. It could be Boogie. Could have been Dwight. I don't know what it was.
Could have been Paul.
And maybe they didn't. Yeah, maybe they didn't pull the trigger on a Dwight because he's going to be a free agent. Maybe they didn't pull the trigger on a Powell because he's going to be a free agent. So what do you think that move was, or what do you think could be this big move in the offseason? Because we kind of talked about KD, but I mean, let's be realistic. KD's going to get a ton of money from the Thunder, and he's most likely going to stay with the Thunder. Is there
at least for 1 year? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least for 1 year. So is there any thing out there that is just a set in stone? This player will be moved to a team.
Well, with Boston, we know that it was either, to me in my mind, it was either three players as this mystery target. The top one, most likely Boogie Cousins. Because the one thing we could see, and we talked about it coming into the trade deadline, the Celtics needed a quality big man. We were talking Dwight to the Celtics. Dwight. Mm-hmm. Could have been Boogie. The second one could have been Dwight. And that's the one where I could see, okay, they may revisit it because they may do a sign-and trade with Houston. After Dwight opts out, they could say, well, you know what? We won't make the deal right now because he will opt out. But you know what, Houston? We'll look into it in the summer. Maybe have a little sign-and trade for you kind of a thing. How many times have we seen that in the NBA?
That's how LeBron went.
And I'm not saying this is a reliable source, but MassLive.com, Jahlil Okafor, that's a possibility.
They were talking about Ja,
Ja being moved to the Bulls, that's the distant third.
I mean, are we going to put Ja in Boston again? Because he kind of got in some trouble last time it was Boston. I mean, I don't know if that's the smartest move. I think Ja's a great player, but I mean, there is some trouble with him in Boston.
To me, I think it might be Dwight Howard because of the sign-and-trade possibility. That would be the most opportune reason why you would look at that in the summer.
Yeah, no, I like that option. The only question is, it depends on when that trade goes down because of the draft. I mean, look, this is a team that's holding all the cards in this draft coming up. They've prided themselves on stacking up on draft picks year after year after year, and now it's the question, is Danny Ainge going to do the big deal for a star? Is he going to continue on his process currently with, I'm going to pick up really good guys in the draft and build them up through our system? I don't know which way he wants to go, because I feel like if they really wanted to get something done, they could have pulled the trigger and tossed up that Nets pick. They could have done more to make that an enticing deal for a team. Getting in Boogie Cousins, he is a dynamic player. There's no denying he is the best center in the NBA. He embarrassed every other.
Here's another reason why I think it's not Boogie is because look at what went down in Sacramento.
George Karl still has a job.
Well, no, not that he still has a job.
It's true
that they fired his assistant. Basically, upper management in Sacramento had said that they fire his assistant, who George Karl loved. That's them basically saying, "You want out? You're going to quit. We're not going to fire you because we don't want to pay you." So if they want to push George Karl out, why would they want to trade the one player that he doesn't get along with? I feel like upper management
doesn't get along with anyone. Has Boogie gotten along with any? I don't even think he got along with John Calipari.
I'm just saying, I feel like the upper management in Sacramento wants to build around Boogie.
Well, if anyone wants to build around Boogie, but I think Sacramento's just disillusioned because they're not going to bring a free agent there because it's Sacramento. Yeah. Oh, let's see. I want to go to California. Where would I go? I don't know. The Lakers, who have more money, the Clippers, who have more money, and a better place than Sacramento. I mean, looking at this team, I mean, you're going to lose Rondo. You're probably, I mean, I think Gay's under contract still, so you'll have Gay and
One
Cousins.
more year for Gay.
Yeah, you'll have Gay and Cousins. That's really it. You're not gonna. You have to build through the
They still
draft.
got
You have to
Ben
realize.
and
Yeah.
Collison.
I mean, you really have to realize
Yeah.
that. But Collinson's not a star player.
He's putting up good numbers this year.
I'm
but
just
they
saying.
wanna
I'm just
sit-
saying
I know,
that the
I know, but I'm
contracts
just
that they have.
I'm just saying, like, this team isn't built. Even if you have Cousins, you need to build through the draft. You need to get draft picks. How you do that? You trade Rudy Gay. You trade Rajon Rondo. You trade Darren Collison to get trades because you're not going to bring free agents here.
Do you
'cause-
really?
hold
Do
on,
we
hold on.
really
You're
think
not
that
gonna bring-
Rondo would get a good trade like draft pick?
Look, Rondo's playing really well this
But
year.
would a
to a
team
contender,
trade a
yes.
draft pick? That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
I mean,
okay.
I think a team would move. I mean,
Because Rudy Gay, I
Alright.
could see them getting a draft pick. Rondo, maybe not so much.
he's basically he's putting up triple doubles at some points. I
Yeah.
mean, if you
say if
the Clippers. I mean,
I was
going to
saying-
say Doc Rivers loves bringing players in who's
CP3
done well
like
for
broke
him.
a fingernail, like Rondo would be on the team.
Even
in a
that,
heartbeat.
though. I mean,
fingernail.
I mean, Doc loves Rondo. I mean, and Doc loves bringing players who's played from before. Bring in Rondo. Cleveland. I mean, obviously not.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, that could be crazy there. I mean, obviously not. But
It would be
can
like
get a
Delhi for Rondo and then something.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Rondo's an upgrade, and that he's a great backup point guard. And if he works in Cleveland, then that might make them better. That might have been the trade there.
I'm just
I mean,
saying,
people
I don't
want
see,
a point guard.
I don't see a team trading. To me, when you said draft pick, we're obviously talking first round.
I'm thinking
second round.
I'm thinking second. You can get a second round
okay,
too. A second round would be valuable.
A second round pick, yes, but to me, I immediately thought first round. No one's giving up a first rounder for Rondo.
No.
But Sacramento needs picks. They
And
need
there's
something. They
value
need
there.
assets. You need something to be able to move, or you need something to bring in because you're not bringing in a free agent. And unless you're forcing people to come in through trades, that's what's going to happen. I mean, look at San Antonio. How they build up their team? Draft. They drafted Tony Parker. They drafted Manu Ginobili, or they signed him for free agency. But he was a international player that people really didn't love. You got Tim Duncan, who they drafted, David Robinson, who they drafted, and then once they build up these great teams,
They didn't
then
mention
people brought
Kawhi?
them. Kawhi, thank you,
I mean-
Kawhi as well. I mean, you bring in these people, and then you sign role players like
And
a
then you
Danny
get-
Green
I'd
to
say,
bring them in.
You get people like David West who want to play with you, so they take
Exactly.
a cheap contract. I mean,
So you need to build up this team before you bring in, because you don't have a team there. You're not in an ideal place in Sacramento. I mean, you need something there in Sacramento, and all you have is Boogie Cousins. And I mean, Boogie's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Boogie is one of the best centers in the league, but I don't think that is just enough for people to be like, all right, I'm giving up what I've come into the NBA for, is to make money and be happy and win a championship, because you're not going to win in Sacramento, so that's not going to make you happy. And you'll make money, but I mean, is that enough to really validate your NBA career? Because I don't see the Sacramento being this big franchise, and I think Vivek's got to start over, but he's just going to see Boogie as this just big diamond for him and this big thing that will make him money, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Vivek's going to strip this team.
Well, right now the Kings are a reality show, and the big drama is Boogie versus Carl, and I don't know why
Boogie's going to win, though.
I
That's
know,
the thing.
but I
Boogie's
don't
gonna
like the one thing I think of is, okay, you brought this guy in, this guy being Carl. Now you're trying to force him out. I mean, we look at the
you
move
gotta admit
that
It's
when you're
because
wrong.
the Kings are a horrible run franchise.
Let me just say this, and this
I don't
is
know why
gonna
I'm getting so
prove- this
upset
is
about
gonna-
the fucking.
I love your
This is-
passion. Yeah.
Why am I getting so upset about the Kings?
because you love Mike Bibby's Kings, because you do.
I don't think. I
That's
think
your
it's just.
team.
I just see this. Sacramento dealing with this terrible owner and
It's
dealing
okay.
with a team that's
just
been.
go home, play some
No,
2K,
but-
bring them to the final.
See, but that's the thing. You have Sacramento where they've been rumored to be moving before, and this
just bring
this,
back the Supersonics.
But all right, Ricky, let me finish. This Sacramento who's been rumored to be moving before to Seattle and bring back the Supersonics, but I don't think Vivek's going to do that, and Vivek's
No.
not going to be able to build a team around him, because it's just, I feel for Sacramento fans, because we're kind of dealing with this in Chicago. Garpax is horrible as a GM, and
Things could
Reinsdorf
be
is
worse.
horrible
Things
as an
could
owner.
be worse though.
How?
I look at Sacramento and go, at least we're not that.
I mean,
at least
but we're not far off.
At least
We're
we're
not-
not
exactly, we're
firing
not far off.
Hoiberg's like the Kings.
But
one
we're
of the things-
disillusioned.
wait,
Look,
We're
Hoiberg's
disillusioned.
already on the hot seat.
wait. One of the things the Kings were good at this season, offense. That assistant they fired was an offensive mastermind. We could be that. We're not far off, but we could be
could
that.
we?
We
Could we? We
fired
don't have
our
the players
defensive
to do
head
that.
coach and then brought in an offensive mastermind and got worse at offense.
And got worse at defense.
And got worse at defense at the same time.
I mean,
You're right.
we don't have players. We're
and we also don't
disillusioned
have
from
that main, we have that main piece. So they have Boogie, we have Butler.
Honestly, they're disillusioned from the early 2000s where they had Vlade Divac. Who do they bring in? Vlade Divac. We're disillusioned from the 90s. We still think we can be the Jordan Bulls, but we don't have the players to become the Jordan Bulls.
Well,
I mean,
we mentioned it with Chicago. It's we got to get off the Derrick Rose train and get on the Jimmy Butler train.
I'm finally getting back around to the topic. I think the Bulls finally I think that's going to be the biggest move. They finally make a deal for either D Rose, and I don't even know if they get back much in that
contract.
That's the thing. I don't think they eat it. I don't think we get that much back for it. I don't think we're going to give up that much or get back that much from D Rose. I think you just got to get him out. I mean, I love D Rose. I love what he's done for the city.
But to move forward as a franchise,
you need to move forward. I mean, you need to be like, all right, Jimmy, you're our guy. We're not going to keep D Rose in because let's be honest, D Rose is here for seats, to put seats in, or to put fans in the seats. I mean, same with Jimmy, but I mean, you don't have a full team there. And I mean, if Jimmy's not happy, you got to fire Hoiberg because he's not even doing anything. You don't have Hoiberg there, and maybe you make a move for one of those big name free agent head coaches. And I think that might be one of the biggest moves is what team is going to get a Luke Walton? What team is going to get a Jeff Hornacek?
Somebody who knows what they're doing with the team. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, look, George Karl, it's clear, not the right fit, and I'm waiting for the ownership to realize that. They're keeping these two people like stapled together, and it's not the right fit for the organization.
But honestly, I don't know. George Karl might be the right fit, but I just don't think this team is the right fit for George Karl because I think George Karl could still be a great coach in the NBA.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know.
Him to that organization.
Yeah.
Because the players don't fit his style. He is great with young players. He can mold and who respect him because of his past. He has done great things. He's similar in line to Thibodeau, where he will work those young players and mold them into good players. And that's the problem is he's got a guy like Boogie who disrespects him and undermines him. There's no way to establish yourself again once that happens over and over and over. Mm-hmm. You've lost the respect of the locker room. There's no way to get that back. And you have another guy like Rondo who is, again, very critical of his head coach, very critical and public about his displeasure with this organization and past organizations. So, it just doesn't seem like he was the right guy.